So I want to talk about the game last night, and you know where I'll go eventually. But let's start right here with Kyrie. 36 points, amazing. And that was only seriously, after LeBron left the game. So I'm watching him, and I'm thinking, this kid is amazing. Do you think he's the best finisher in the game?
Well, I think he's definitely one of the best finishers. I think we've seen in the last couple of years what this kid can do in terms of closing out basketball games. And last night it was definitely needed for him to step up. LeBron getting in foul trouble. And I thought Cleveland did a real good job of defending LeBron in the first half to really put him in a position where he did get in foul trouble. But Kyrie did what he had to do. He's the second star on that team, and it was time for him to step up and take over. I think in the last couple games we've seen LeBron struggle really from shooting the ball from the outside, but give a lot of credit to the Celtics. They've done a pretty good job of walling the paint on him, and there's times when he still is able to get to the bucket, but they did a good job in the first half.
Well, let's go to the Celtics. You said give them a lot of credit. They played LeBron so well that you believe it was what the Celtics did, the reason why he had 4 fouls in the first half. It wasn't LeBron pressing?
No, I don't think so. And that's what the playoffs are about. I mean, you get to play against a team 2, 3, 4 times. You're going to soon figure out how to stop guys. And I thought the Celtics did a real good job of really getting guys in front of LeBron. I thought LeBron has been dominating this series. He's been getting to the paint, spinning, making easy shots, getting and-ones. And I thought last night was a difference maker for the Celtics, was how they played him.
All right, that's fair. All right, so you've given it to the Celtics for the four fouls for LeBron in the first half. Because LeBron is on MJ trajectory, and we always hear the comparisons, it's annoying. I know you hate to talk about it, or maybe you don't.
I love to talk about it.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I don't want to assume. But I do want to talk about last night and the 4 fouls and the second half. Now, how would you describe LeBron in the second half of that game?
Well, I thought he was playing a little cautious. He wanted to stay in the game. He wanted to play the whole second half, so he knew he had to be very cautious and not pick up that 5th foul. He was definitely less aggressive than what we've seen out of LeBron, and that's expected. I mean, you want to be on the court. You know that your presence is a huge impact in terms of how your team play. And I just felt like he just sort of kept himself in the game and not really asserted himself in any way.
Okay, so but if you look at LeBron's, you watch him in playoffs, and he has these moments where this happens, and it seems as if he almost mentally takes himself out of the game. What is the difference between, and again, the comparisons, a bad game for MJ and a bad game for LeBron?
Well, I think it's a huge difference because you're talking about 2 different calibers of player. A bad game for a guy like Michael means that he's going to come back the next game and try to make up in the next game. But a bad game for a guy like LeBron, who's more of a passive player, he just want to get back and have a good game. Michael is more of what you call a thirsty scorer. Those kind of guys, Kobe, they feel like they can score on every possession. They want to score every time the ball is brought in the front court, whereas LeBron is more of a passive player. And I think we try to judge these guys and compare them when there's no comparison.
And by no comparison, what do you mean?
Well, you're talking about a guy, LeBron is more of a dominant, powerful guy who can score at will, compared to a guy like Kobe or Michael, who are scorers. They can score from shooting the basketball or getting to the bucket or getting to the foul line. They just want to draw fouls. They want to shoot. They feel like they can score every possession. They feel like they can beat you as an individual compared to your team. And LeBron is a guy that wants to beat you by committee.
He wants to beat you by committee. So you watched this game last night, and you talk about beating by committee. I'm looking at his body language. What did it tell you last night?
Well, he was in a bad position. I mean, no player wants to be on the court, especially starting the second half with 4 fouls. It just takes everything out of you, and I think that's just what we saw. And we've seen LeBron be less and less aggressive in the last couple games. The first 2 games, he really dominated the Celtics, but they had to figure him out. Now they've figured him out. Now they've taken some of that aggression away. They're forcing him to shoot the ball. And when he shoots the ball and he don't make those shots, it tends to push him back a little bit more to be less dominant.
If that was MJ, how would he have responded if he wasn't making the shots?
Well, I mean, Michael's a better scorer, and he figures out ways to score, whether it's getting to the foul line or driving to the bucket, and same with a guy like Kobe. Scorers figure out ways to score.
So last night I'm watching Kyrie, and that's why I'm so glad you're on the show today, because you can help me understand it. Last night I'm watching Kyrie. He has that amazing performance. It's showtime, literally showtime. And all his teammates, you see all his teammates coming to him and greeting him and giving it up for him. And I was just looking for LeBron. Now, in that moment, do you think LeBron wanted to step back? What do you do in that moment as you watch your second, take over as a superstar?
I think LeBron was happy for him, but I think he was also frustrated with his play. So it's hard to show your emotions when you're still frustrated with the way that you're playing out on the basketball court. And it's really, you expect your teammates to come out, the guys on the bench, and applaud you. And, we didn't see LeBron there, but I'm sure he gave him some kind of applaud for the way that he played and the way that he carried them last night.
When you think about Kyrie, what's the one word or words that define his style of play for you?
He's a scorer. He's a guy that you compare with Michael, with Kobe. He's a guy that probably feels he can score the basketball every time down the court because he is a scorer. He can shoot it. He finished well around the basket.
Is that the dynamic duo? Because you know about dynamic duos. Is it the 1-2 of Kyrie and LeBron?
Oh, yes.
Or LeBron and Kyrie?
Yeah, it's truly a 1-2 with those two.
Okay, are they better than you and MJ?
Today they are.
Today, but back then they wasn't.
Nah.